Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. It's week 8, season 1, 2024. We are at the very much maligned Lime Rock Classic. It is much maligned because there are no braking zones, that there are only 2 corners where we are going to be lifting, and the rest of the time we are giving it the full beans. Whew. What to say about it? If you guys have done Draft Masters, if you've tried getting your oval license and you've gone up to D and you've been in Draft Masters, you'll see that in that everyone can keep up with everyone else and there are lots of crashes. And that's exactly how it's going to be this week. So if you're one of these people that like to drive away from the pack and you enjoy doing so, I'm very much one of those people. I don't particularly love it. It's an iRacing killer if you are on a big account. However, if you're one of those people that often gets driven away from, and Reddit lets me know that there are plenty of those people, then you'll absolutely love this week. So, whilst qualifying isn't important, it's still good to get a basic sort of view of how to get around the track. So let's jump in the cockpit and I'll show you around. And if I wasn't already in a bad mood that we're going to be at Lime Rock Classic, I'm in a worse mood now because I've just realised, having spent an hour recording voiceovers for this car and the Formula Ford, I did not have my microphone plugged in because I'm a complete and utter moron. Anyway, we're over on the left-hand side of the track. We are giving it the full beans down the straight, absolutely squishing that throttle, and we're looking for the 1 marker on the left-hand side. Now, as we get to the 1 marker, what we're going to do, as you can see, I'm starting to turn towards the Y in Sam Posey on that bridge over there, and I'm going to gently come off the throttle down to about 15%, down to 10%, and just keep some maintenance throttle. I'm going to just clip this curb here because it just helps slow me down a little bit, and when the revs allow, I'm going to drop it down to 3rd gear, and again, I'm going to balance it out with a little bit of maintenance throttle. Anytime that you need some more rear rotation, you can just drop it a little bit lower. I'm starting to turn the wheel quite roughly now, quite aggressively, because what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to really go over this curb on the right-hand side. So I'm mid-track, and as you can see from here, I'm now full throttle again in 3rd gear. So what we're wanting to do now is we're wanting to move it over onto the right-hand side, and I don't know how good your sight is, but over on the right-hand side there are these posts, and I call them post 1, 2, 3, and 4 because I'm not that close to them to give them real names. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move over, and between the 2nd and the 3rd post, I'm going to start moving back to the left, having moved right. So this is where I've now started steering towards the left, and I'm leaving it in 3rd gear. So as you can see, I'm still moving out right while steering left because that's what cars do. I'm reducing the throttle now, and I'm going to, again, just balance it in 3rd gear. I'm just feeling for where the grip is, trying to keep the car as balanced as possible, and the reason for that is I'm wanting to get on the throttle as early as possible, because once we hit full throttle here at the apex of turn 3, it's labelled because Big Bend is turns 1 and 2. Once we get up to full throttle, we're going to be on the throttle all the way back until turn 1 of the next lap. So it's really important. The earlier we can get on the throttle, the better. We're wanting to clip this curbing here because it's not raised. It does do a little bouncy noise, but that's not the end of the world. So as you can see, I'm just balancing it, still in 3rd gear. But as I know that I'm going to make it, I'm going to start increasing the throttle, and I'm back up to 100% at this point. I'm now going to be back on throttle for the entire rest of the lap. So what we're wanting to do is get as close, but without hitting this curbing here. So if a cigarette paper can get in between your wheel and the curb, you're too far away. I'm going to change up to 3rd gear here, 87 miles an hour or 103 kilometers an hour. Right, important bit here. So I follow, and especially when I'm in the public lobbies in practice, the amount of people that only use the grey asphalt and don't use the rumble strips on entry to this corner is phenomenal. So you're wanting to get your car really onto the rumble strips, and the reason for that is it means that our turn-in angle for this next corner, turn 5, the uphill, is going to be less if we are taking it wider. So use all the track that you're given. And again, you're wanting to get really close to this curbing without hitting it. I think I just clip it here, but it doesn't actually do anything to my time. this next corner here, so we need to start turning in early because you are going to understeer a bit. And on exit, it's really easy to go onto the grass and crash. And if you're in one of the splits lower down the order, you're going to see that an awful lot this week. So we start turning in nice and early. As you can see, I'm already turning in now. Get really close without clipping, holding it over to the right. You can come out to where I am, that's fine, but you'll see people go on the grass and then they'll spin off and it'll upset you. And this last turn, all we're trying to do is turn the least. So we want the least amount of turn on the steering wheel, and that's because anytime we get any wheel squeal, what we're doing is we are losing speed because the energy, rather than being used to propel you forward to push the rubber onto the asphalt to make you go faster, what it's doing is it's giving up energy in heat and noise. So we want to avoid that. So I'm going to try and go through here as quiet as possible. And then over the line. So I am 2/10 slower than the last video, if any of you went through my back catalogue this week, with a 101.001. And that's because it's 10 degrees warmer. And just park up here for a sandwich as always. So because it's 10 degrees warmer, it is going to be considerably slower than previously. So in the Formula Vee, the colder the track, the more grip that you're actually going to have to be able to go faster. Anyway, I'll see you in the chase cam, and we're nearly done. Okay, here we are in the chase cam, over to left-hand side, getting as close to the grass as possible on entry. We lift, we hold, we drop down to third. Now, if you look at that clean input, I'm not up and down or up and down, I'm just holding it nice and steady. On this one, I am feeling for the grip a little bit more. So practice around here is very, very boring, but as I say, the race is going to be full of incidents and it may actually be quite fun. My last to first challenge, I think, is going to be an absolute nightmare this week. Because I will not be faster than anyone else. No one is faster than anyone else this week. I would take on Max Verstappen very happily. I wouldn't beat him, but I could definitely take him out. Do it for Lewis. Right. Was that fun? Great. Let's go back in the cockpit with the driving line on. Okay, here we are in the car once again. As you drop it down to third, you've got to keep the maintenance throttle on. You might get a little bit of wheel slip, bit of four-wheel slide, that's absolutely fine. Remember, throttle is your friend when your car starts sliding. Catch it nice and early though. Thank you, one and all, for sticking with me to the end, and I shall see you on track. I've been Sambo iRacing. Thanks a lot.